Hey guys, how are we going? How's everyone on this Wednesday morning? I am going live to talk to you about what to do when your reach tanks. Now, the reason that I decided to go live and talk about this is because one of the members in my Facebook group, Juliet, brought this up, and she shared actually really openly, which I was really like really grateful for, about how she feels about the fact that her reach has been tanking and she's been trying video and all the things that you're supposed to be doing and still isn't seeing the results that she wants to get, or has been told potentially that she should get from using, in her instance, was video content. So I had a lot to say to this post, and I'm so grateful that Juliet shared so openly about it, because I think it's a really cool conversation to have. So rather than type it all out in a comment thread, I thought I'd go live and let's chat about it together. So as you're coming on live, I can see Lauren's here. Hey, Loz, how are you today, darling? How do you feel after your live stream yesterday? Because I know that's not something you do very often. But it was so great to see you going live. I loved it. So I'm just bringing up, obviously I stream from StreamYard, so I can see the comments in here. If you haven't registered with StreamYard before, then it will come up as Facebook user. So I do like to bring it up on my pages as well. Mel, how you going? I was just watching the COVID update on the news page. Would much rather listen to you. Oh, I stopped listening to those updates because it just stressed me out too much. I just catch up on a need to know basis what I need to know. Ash and Amanda, hey guys, how are you guys? All right, so I wrote some notes down. I want to make sure that I cover off everything that I want to cover because it's a big topic. I hear it a lot in I hear it a lot in lots of conversations with clients, with potential clients, with people in my group, with my existing audience, with people in other Facebook groups about declining reach. And I guess probably what I'd love to know is who has been feeling or finding, just bring up my stream on my phone for my page too, guys. That's why I'm looking down. I guess I'd love to know, first of all, who has been, I guess, feeling, if you can hear it, who's been feeling like they've had a bit of declining reach? Like who feels like the algorithm's out to get them at the moment? I'd love to know what you feel about that. And I guess I'd love to know, like, what makes you think that? Have you been trying certain types of content that people have told you that you should try, like experts have told you should try? And, I guess, how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about it? It's probably the biggest thing I'd like to know. How does it make you feel? And Ashley, so much decline. Mel, sorry, I'm reading the comments as I go. So a few cases popping up in the northern beaches. Yeah, of course, absolutely. I mean, if you're in a hotspot, you've got to keep an eye on it, right? Don't you? Up here in northern New South Wales, I feel like we've been so relatively untouched. So I feel like I can tune off a little bit. I know that sounds bad, but I don't, it's not, and for me to need to know every single day. So much decline. And I guess I'd love to know, like, how does it make you feel, and what sort of content have you been putting out there? What sort of content have you been putting out there, and how does it make you feel? Reach is down for every Instagram account across the board. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. I'm definitely going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about it with Facebook as well. Let me find my group feed. Fairly much uptake. Yeah, I know. And everyone's feeling the same. So we're going to talk a little bit about why that happens. And then we're going to talk about what you can do about it. So first of all, the thing I want you to know is you're not alone, right? The algorithm doesn't go and pick specific people to affect your reach, right? It happens to everyone. So when the algorithm changes, or when things change on a platform, or the way the user likes to experience the platform changes, it's not you, right? So the algorithm's not out to get you. The algorithm isn't not favoring you, but favoring someone else. It's not about you, okay? So I think, like, that can take comfort in the fact that it's not about you, that there is a way that we can change it, right? It's a machine. it's a system. It's not Facebook's not a human being. It's just driven by human behavior, right? So it's just a machine. We can use the machine to our advantage 100%. Mel, don't pay much attention these days to the algorithm, focusing on trying to be consistent and grow my email list. I love that. Ashley, Instagram is better than Facebook. That's cool. And you're going to go through phases where one platform's better for you than another, right? You're going to go through those times, and that's okay. Knowing it, awareness is key. I say this in life. I say this about everything. I say it about business. I say it about parenting. I say it about life in general. Awareness is key. If you're aware of something, you can do something about it, right? I feel like Instagram reach is better, but most of my website traffic is coming from Facebook. That's common as well. A lot of people find that the conversions happen on Facebook, but they get more engagement on Instagram. So that would come down to how your audience uses the platforms and which one they're more likely to purchase from or they trust more, right? So that would be where that comes in. Machine learning, totally. So first of all, I just wanted to say, don't be deflated. You're not alone. It's just a machine. We can work with it. The other thing I'm going to say is that the algorithm itself doesn't actually change as much as you think it does. There are other things that change, which impacts the way that your content is engaged with. So we're going to talk about that. But I want you to know that the algorithm, like I said, it's not out to get you. It doesn't just pick you randomly and then someone else. The algorithm's actually designed to help you. The algorithm is designed to show you content that you want to see more of. It's designed to show your audience content that they want to see more of. The more they engage with your content or people like you, the more they're going to see your content, right? It's just about knowing how to use the machine to your advantage. And it's also about, particularly these days, it's about being, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Someone's saying they'll be back later. Let me see who that is. I think that might be Amanda. It is Amanda. Yeah, no worries, Dylan. All good, babe. It's about being comfortable and okay with having to bend and flex what you're doing and being flexible with it, and not having a rigid strategy. Like I delivered the first session of the strategy program yesterday, and one of the things I said about strategy, particularly with social media, is the best strategies are the ones that people that have a plan, that know what they're doing, but are able to bend and flex and pivot and turn and adapt and do the things that they need to do. Things change on social media so often. If you created a content strategy that worked 12 months ago, it's not going to work for you now. And the reasons for that are twofold. The platforms have changed and the way people use the platforms have changed. The types of content, what people want to see from us has changed. So I've done some of the live streams and podcasts about this. I did a live stream last week that talked about what people want to see from you in 2021. So you can go back and watch that. It's on my page and also in the group. And I put it on IGTV. There is a podcast episode, which is 5 things working on social media right now. That talks about how people use the platform has changed and those sort of things. So you can definitely go back and have a look a little bit more about those things. So while the algorithm itself doesn't necessarily change very often, what is available on the platforms does, right? And what works changes. So they're the things that change more often than the algorithm, and the way people like to consume content changes a lot as well. So a lot of the way that the way people interact and what works is it's user-led. It's led by your audience. So if you're creating content and they're not engaging with it, I would ask you to really sit deep and think to yourself, have you discovered the content that your audience want? Have you discovered a way to deliver your message in a way that your audience want to consume it? Because that is really the key. It's not about having to do Instagram reels or having to do Instagram stories or having to do video or having to do live. It's finding the content that your audience love to consume and putting that content in front of them. And if you're not having the results, then potentially there's a bit of soul searching there that needs to be done, a bit of strategy that needs to be done around your content planning, so that we can come up with what that is going to look like for you. And it could mean a bit of testing and measuring of stuff as well. So here's some things that have changed on the platform, right? So last year was like, it was update central. absolutely update central on Facebook and Instagram. If you look at the way the platforms have evolved in the last 12 months, there's so much more to do. So you're competing for a lot more real estate now. On Facebook, you've got Facebook Shops. That whole upgrade for the Facebook Commerce Manager and Facebook Shops has been huge. So for a lot of us service-based people and coaches and mentors, you know, e-coms had a bit of a field day really in the last 12 months, right? But, you know, that's not to say that that's not going to even itself out. It's just that that's a bit of a flavor of the month, right? As far as, you know, features available on the Facebook platform, you know, 12, 18 months ago before that, it was Facebook groups, right? Facebook groups were it in a bit, right? Now people are still engaging in Facebook groups, but it's not as, I guess, that ferventness, I can't even think of the right word, but it's not that like fever pitch about them that it used to be. And I find now that people really are very strategic about their Facebook group interaction. They'll be in maybe 3 or 5 groups instead of being in 25 or 30 or 50 groups, right? So, you know, people have just got a bit more strategic with it. Whereas, you know, 18 months ago, it was like, be in every freaking Facebook group. That's how you grow your business, right? Because that's what Facebook loved. Lives as well. I've been really playing a lot with different things because I've had my Facebook reach decline too. Okay, it has not left me behind either. Facebook Lives are huge on Facebook at the moment. If you can go live and not just in a closed group on your page, you're going to see more reach. So I've been doing some trying and testing, and if you're doing video content and you have the ability to do live stream, here's what I'm going to say to you. Here's an example. I did a snapshot of the week, another week before the 1st of January to the week from the 1st of January. And my engagement on my page and my post has gone up about 400% because I've been doing live streams, not just in my closed Facebook group, but on my Facebook page. So if you're someone who's putting all your really good stuff into Facebook groups and you're not having it on your page, then you're going to have declining reach on your page because people can't see everything. And I talked about that when I did a live stream last week about making your good stuff accessible, not hiding it behind firewalls like email opt-ins and Facebook groups and stuff all the time, putting your good stuff where people can see it. So I'm not saying if you've got a Facebook group or you're engaging in those places or you've got an email list not to do those things. I'm just saying think strategically about where you're putting your really good content. You know, and look, if you're okay with, if you've got a booming email list and people are subscribing all the time and your emails are really engaging and people are opening them and clicking them and they're buying stuff, does it really matter if you don't have that much reach on your page? Like, is that just the place where people engage with you? Maybe that's something to think about too. Ash, I stopped doing lives on my page because they declined, but maybe it's worth trying again. Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit more about what to do there as well, because one thing, before we move on to talking about that, I just want to say, like, the things with Instagram that obviously are really, really, you'll probably guess what I'm going to say right now, but the things on Instagram that obviously are new is Instagram Reels, right? Instagram Reels they're so popular, they're new, they're current. Yes, they are favored because they are so current, right? I find that Instagram TVs, if you do it as a live and then save it to IGTV, it gets way more engagement too. So there's some other things, you know, as far as, you know, just it's a lot of it is trying and testing, right? But here's the thing. Just because someone says to you, you need to do Instagram Reels to have any engagement. This is the sort of scare tactics you're going to see online. You'll hear people say, you need to do Instagram Reels because that's the only way you're going to get engagement on Instagram at the moment because Reels are so popular. You'll have some people say you have to do lives, or you have to have a Facebook group, or you have to do this, or you have to do video, or you have to do that, right? I'm not saying don't do those things. What I'm saying is just because someone tells you to do it doesn't mean it's a cure-all. So just because Reels are awesome and you do get great reach and engagement on them and they are favored at the moment 100%, just because you post a Reel doesn't mean it's going to go viral. Just because you post a Reel does not mean you're going to have all this success from that one Reel. Just because someone tells you video is king doesn't mean you're going to have success from posting video. all of these things are features of a platform. What you need to have underpinning all of these features that you use is a strategy. And that's what I've been talking a lot about in the last week. And I've got a few other things I want to say about that. I'm just going to read some of these comments. Mel, reels are working really good. They're cool, aren't they? I love them. Do best, yeah, have a caption on the cover screenshot. Yeah, definitely. I think with reels, definitely have a cover image on it. That works really well. Keeps your feed looking nice. And make sure you always have a caption with the reel, an actual reel caption, and hashtags in the post too. So you've got your reel. Remember, reels are only 15 to 30 seconds. So always put your caption and the hashtags in there too. Cool. Is it doubling if you have a Facebook page as well as a group? Look, they're two different strategies, Jude, 100%. I would say my thing is whenever people say to me, should I have a Facebook group? Here's my answer. Are you getting the results that you want from your Facebook page? Have you proven that you have a strategy to connect with your audience, grow your audience, and convert your audience on your Facebook page or Instagram page, your business page? Have you proven that you can do that? And can you unequivocally say you know what your audience need from you? Because having a Facebook group is a different strategy and it's extra work. So a lot of people start a group because they think that they need to have one. You don't need to have one. You 100% don't need to have one. They are an amazing strategy and they work extremely well, but you need to know and have a proven strategy and content plan and a proven ability to grow, connect with, and convert your audience on your page. Because if it's not working on your page, it's not going to work in a group either. So again, that's like using a piece of content as a cure-all. It's like you just posting reels because, well, the algorithm favors them. You still need to have a strategy. Still definitely need to have a strategy. So if you haven't mastered the page yet, I normally suggest to people, let's master that first, then move into a really good group strategy, right? Oh, you've got a group already and it's doing well. Well, that's really cool. I wasn't sure. Sometimes people ask that question because they're thinking about having a group and a page. In that instance, I would say, no, like what I've been playing with lately is I'm streaming right now to my page and my group because this is really good content. This is conversations people need to have. So hiding it behind my group means that I've got a whole bunch of people that aren't in my group because there's still people on Facebook that won't join a group or they don't want to be in a group. They're not interested in being in a Facebook group. They just want to follow you, right? The same as you'll have people that'll be way more engaged in a group than you will on your page. So if it's good content, share it on both. Share it on both, 100%. What do you mean you've done it all backwards, Jude? Do you mean like you've built your group and then built your page or something? And look, that's okay. Like what I'm going to say is there's no perfect way to do it. I don't think there's a perfect way to do it. If your group's thriving, then you've obviously got something that works. Let's take what works from that and make it work on your page. That's cool. There's no right or wrong way. Most people just start with a page first and then move through to a group. That's all. That's just how most people do it. But if your group's thriving and it's working, you've got a proven method. Let's put that into a strategy that's going to work on a page. Then you've got both, right? Ash, how do you share to both your page and your group? Can you do it through Zoom? No, you can't do it through Zoom. I'm using StreamYard. So you'll need like a third-party app for that. So I'm using StreamYard and I can stream into various places with that. There is another one called Restream. I preferred StreamYard. So have a look at StreamYard, Ash. That's what I would, and the only, you don't have to do it this way. I just like simplicity. So if I'm going to do one live, I want to do one, not two. Otherwise, I'm going to do it on my page and then do it in the group. I'd rather just do it once and then it's on both places. I will always go for the simplest option. I'll always go for the simplest option. Okay. So we talked about the fact that the algorithm and how it works. We talked about how, there's updates and features and things that mean that you are competing for more real estate. But let's talk now about the fact that just because you're creating reels or you're using video or you're doing infographics or you're doing lives and doing all those things, that they still don't work if you don't have a strategy. And really your strategy is just at the core of what you're doing, because otherwise you can throw spaghetti at a wall with video content the same as you can with an image and text post. You can throw spaghetti at a wall with reels the same as you can with an image and text post. You can throw spaghetti at a wall with story. you've got to have a strategy for what you're doing with your content. Otherwise, it's not driving anything. Okay. So don't think just because someone's told you that you have to use video, that just using video is going to fix everything, because that's not how it kind of works, right? You definitely need a strategy. So here's what I would suggest that you do. If you've got some content that you think was really good, and I'm going to put my hand on my heart and say, I reckon you guys have all got amazing content. Ash, I love your content. I love it. I think it's awesome. I love your content. Lauren, I love your content. You know, all of you guys that I know that are online live right now, I love your guys' content. Most of the time, it's not that your content's not good, right? So don't think it's that your content's not good. It's just that we haven't found a way to package it up for your audience in a way that they're going to engage with more. So let's say you posted a video, because that was what the question Juliet asked and what she shared in the group was she'd posted some video and it didn't get the reach. And she was like, video is king. So, you know, I'm feeling really deflated. So here's what I would suggest. If you've posted content that you thought should have been successful and you feel that it wasn't, go back and review some things. Review what was the time of day and what was the day that you posted it. Was it just potentially that it was the wrong time of day, the wrong day of the week for your audience to stop and connect with that content? So that goes back to your client profiling and understanding who your people are and what their movements are. So if you've got a really cool strategic piece of content and you've posted it at the wrong time of day, it's potentially that could be all it is. Delete it, rip it down, repost it again, see if it gets more traction. You can delete a post, right? You can delete anything off Facebook and Instagram and repost it again. So that could be a really simple way to try and test and see, is it the content or is it the time of day or when you've posted it? Review your content before you post it. So I would always say post with purpose, right? So review it before you post it. Is it interesting and is it full of value? Give your post or your reel or your video the so what factor. So look at it through the lens of your audience and go, so what? So what? Would I stop and read this? Would I stop and listen to this? Is this enough for me to stop my busy day to stop and read or listen or view or interact with this content? Is it enough for me? Do I feel like, if you read it back through the lens of your own audience, are you talking at them too much or are you talking with them? Are you sharing a message or are you just teaching them stuff? Are you sharing enough of yourself or are you just hiding behind a brand? Like, you know, ask yourself these questions because sometimes it can just be the littlest tweak, just the littlest tweak to a little bit of copy, an image that you're using, you know, the tone of a post or a video or whatever it is that can make the world of difference. Just put that little so what factor over it before you post it, or go back and review some of your old content and put the so what factor over that and see what that looks like for you. Then the last thing I would say is, what's the purpose behind it? So again, don't just do video, reels, lives because someone told you to do it. What is the purpose behind it? Is it that you want people to engage with you? Is it you want awareness of what you do sell or teach? Was it lead generation? Did you want people to buy something or opt into something? So let's just have a look at the purpose thing for a second. I want to wrap this up because I wanted to keep this under 30 minutes, but let's have a look at purpose. So if I use the example that was used, brought up in the group from Juliet around video, let's have a look at how to be purposeful with that piece of content. And then you could relate it to other things like infographics or reels or stories or live streams or whatever it is that you're doing. So her example was a video. I don't know what the video was that you posted, Juliet. You'd be more than happy if you want to put a link to the post. I'm happy to have a look at it and we can, you know, hash it out there too. Okay, let's have a look at video. And if we look through the lens of purpose with video, let's have a look. If it's a quick video, like a 30 to 90 second video, you can post that at any time. Like if it's a reel, because a reel goes for 30 seconds. If it's a quick, hey, you know, guess what? I'm doing this, running this workshop tomorrow. I'd really love you to come. You know, that sort of thing. That can be done on stories, reels, your page, anywhere at any time, strategically placed at any time, right? Because it's just short, consumable content. People will stop and read it and listen to it because it goes for 30 to 90 seconds. It's not a huge investment in their time. They'll stop and listen. If they're interested and it's done well and placed strategically on the platform when and at a time that's good for your audience, they'll stop and listen, right? If it's 1 to 10 minutes worth of video, same sort of thing. You can post that sort of stuff when I say on the fly, but still strategically on a day at a time that's going to be useful for your audience and more likely for them to see it. But then what you're going to want to do then, if it's a bit of longer video, you've got to think, are people going to stop and listen to a 10-minute video when they're sitting in the doctor's surgery or when they're in the supermarket? Probably not. So then what you're going to want to do with that is share it. So you're going to want to share it to maybe your personal page. You might want to share it to some Facebook groups. You might want to share it on stories and drive traffic back to it. Put it onto IGTV. Here's a hot tip. You can do a swipe up link to an IGTV video in Instagram stories. So if you've put it on IGTV, share it in stories, add the swipe up link. Send traffic back to that video so more people can see it. Particularly if you're sharing content in Facebook groups, I would encourage you guys to start sharing the actual post, not copy and pasting it, because that's getting more brand awareness out to the original piece of content that's actually going to benefit you with the algorithm, right? The last thing I'll say with as with purpose with video, if it's like 20 minutes or more and it's really purposeful. So like something like this, I probably should have scheduled in a time to do this because it's gone for 30 minutes. I thought I'd talk for 10. I've talked for a lot longer than that. But that happens to me all the time. What you can do is, if it's really purposeful and maybe you're selling something at the end of it or whatever, drive traffic to it. Tell people, I'm going live on this day at this time. I'm sharing this video on this day at this time. It doesn't have to be live stream. You can share it as a normal video, but just drive traffic to it. On Facebook, you've got the option to do a Facebook premiere, which is where you can post a video, schedule a premiere, and you've got all the benefits of live stream, but it's not live. So it goes live like this. It's like a live. You interact live with all the comments, but it's not a live video. You've pre-recorded it. So that's something you can do with it. So you can post it, then schedule the premiere. You can schedule an event and then just direct people to that video. So when I did the live stream for the Kickstart training last week, I created an event on my page, in my group, and I talked about it and told people this is when I'm going live and this is what I'm going to be talking about, because it was an hour-long strategic video. So that's where you can have a look at the purpose. So if you're just kind of making video and chucking it up there, potentially it's the strategy behind it, which could just be missing. And a lot of the times it's just a little 2% tweak in how you do things, and you can start to get a lot more results and a lot more traction from it. All right, who's still online? Who's still here? Anyone still here and listening? I know I went and just jumped on live and started riffing this out. So if you're still here, let me know. And if you've got some value or any questions that you want to ask me, please let me know. The last thing I'll say is that if you feel like you've got declining reach, if you feel that you're constantly pushing and hustling your content and it's not working for you, if you feel like you're constantly being told what you have to do on social media, if you're constantly being told what you need to do and you feel that you're doing those things and they are not working for you and that you should be getting better results, I can honestly say it would more than likely 99% of the time come down to some part of your strategy, whether it's your overall social media strategy, your content marketing strategy, or just some little tiny bits of your strategy that you need to tweak here and there. So how do you fix that? So Fleur, hey Fleur, awesome. I didn't know you were here. So cool. Yay, I love that you're here. And Mel's still here. Yay, Lauren, awesome. So what do? If you want to fix the strategy or you feel that you need to work on some of those things, the best place to do that is the strategy program I'm running right now. It's a 4-part training series we started yesterday. The video from yesterday is there as a replay version that you can go and watch. We've got another session tomorrow on content marketing strategy, and then we're working in through the content planning and creation system next week. So that's open. You can access it now. From a financial investment point of view, it's the best way to get started with this stuff. It's $122 for the changes that you can make and the little tweaks you can make to your strategy. It is well worth the investment. Everyone at the end of that program who joins will get an option and a really cool offer to join my membership should they want to continue that mentorship further. There's zero expectation that you do that. So if you've listened to this and you feel that yes, you've had a lot of these challenges, that is the best place for me to mentor you through it. Obviously, there's free places where I can support you, like my Facebook group, Facebook page, all those places. But it's really hard for me to be able to give personalized advice without seeing your actual strategy and knowing exactly what you're doing. So in this program, what we have is the 4-part training series and the workbooks. You work through all of that. Then I put in some topic threads into the group. So yesterday's topic threads were ideal client topic thread. So we're hashing through some niching stuff, social media strategy topic thread, and promotional rhythm topic thread. And in that's where you will get the personalized mentoring. Plus there's an optional Voxer upgrade as well for those that want that option too. So the link to that is in the caption. You can head over and have a look at that. It started yesterday. It runs until the end of next week. They're all available for replay. It's forever access in the Facebook group. It's super easy to jump into. That is what I would highly recommend for any of you. And it just feels like everyone's talking about this stuff. And I'm like, the answer is strategy, man. Strategy is the answer. So yeah, if you want more support with that, that is a really cool option that's available to you right now. All right, guys, have an amazing day. I'm taking my girls to go get their nails done. So they're very excited about that. All right, guys, have a good one. See you later.